Hey, it's Luke from LT Gaming, and today we're checking in on Starship EVO. Because after years of updates, ambition, and a whole lot of this game could be something really special, the long-awaited survival update is finally on the horizon. And the amazing news for you guys, I've 10 keys to give away. Here's how to enter. Like the video and watch all of it if you can, because it really helps us. Leave a comment and we will draw some winners in our Discord. You just have to join to claim your prize. That's 10 awesome keys for you to try Starship EVO, so make sure to enter, guys. This game has never really struggled with ideas. It's always had them, and to be honest, most of them have been big. It's always been more about whether those ideas could eventually come together into something that feels like a proper game loop, rather than just a brilliant space sandbox full of potential. And I think the game's almost there. For anyone who hasn't kept up with it, Starship EVO is an ambitious early access space building sandbox that combines deep shipbuilding, planetary exploration, mining, combat, crafting, and seamless travel from surface to orbit in one big sci-fi playground. The main appeal has always been freedom, building your own ships block by block, which is something I definitely struggle with. I'm not that creative a person. Creating vehicles and systems, exploring planets and space, that's definitely more my bag, and shaping your own little sci-fi adventure. But for a long time it has felt more like an impressive sandbox full of potential than a fully rounded game with strong progression tying it all together. Well, with the new update, I think that's changed. Let's discover why. Starship EVO has always looked like a game that could become something special once it found a stronger reason to keep players engaged. It already had scale, creativity, tech, and that seamless personal starship fantasy that a lot of space games struggled to pull off. But what it really needed was momentum and an actual gameplay loop that made the building, exploration, and crafting feel part of a bigger journey. And the survival update attempts to deliver on that vision. Now Starship EVO becomes much easier to recommend because it stops being just a cool builder with promise and starts looking like a proper survival game with real progression. I spent a good few hours in the new update, and look, I'm not the most creative, wonderful builder in the world. I'd love to be, like Space Engineers 2 I really struggle with, but I try, let's put it that way. Definitely more of a No Man's Sky, Elite Dangerous, or X4 kind of space combat exploration person, but look, I really want to do well with these games, and I enjoyed my time in Starship EVO. I think it challenges us as gamers to create our own ships and stuff like that, and it definitely is something I enjoyed personally to challenge myself with. Okay, so let's get to the heart of the update. The survival update looks like the moment Starship EVO finally starts tying all of its systems together into a more structured progression path. Now, instead of just dropping you into a sandbox and asking you to make your own fun, and there is plenty of that fun to be had here, the game opens with you stranded on a planet, gathering resources, mining ore and crystal, cutting down trees, smelting materials, and slowly building up your tools, equipment, and production chain. Now, this is a slow burn. It took me a couple of hours just to get my base together, and my base looked pretty bad if I'm honest. But then I crafted my hoverboard and my jetpack and I was whizzing around the planet in no time. I will say the game definitely suits a more chill vibe, the music is really cool, and it does lean towards a more relaxing, slow-paced experience. You start to move from basic crafting towards more advanced assembly, start solving power demands with things like solar panels and wind turbines, and then you move down to the sea and start trying to produce hydrogen to fuel your starships. And then you start crafting your incredible ship to leave the planet. I mean, I don't even want to show mine at this point. It just, honestly, it looks a bit silly, but oh, I don't know. Sometimes I look at the things people create and I'm like, wow, so I'm probably going to show you those instead. I'm really interested, guys, outside of the competition to hear your comments on, are you a crafter in games like these, or do you struggle with that element just like me? And the big shift with this update is you're no longer just building because you can, you're building towards something now. So it's not just creative, there's an actual survival element built in the game, and for me, that gives me an actual reason to play. I find getting to the next stage of the loop addictive, whether it was just getting a new smelter or new material, I did keep coming back to play. And that first launch into space becomes an actual milestone. From there, the game seems to open up into a broader loop where you head to asteroids, mine rare resources, unlock faster travel, push towards stargates, and then deal with pirate encounters. Then they've added in trading, missions, sector conflict, and interstellar travel, so there's plenty to do once you get off the planet. This is simply a much stronger framework than the game has had before. Just a quick interlude to say most of you who watch the channel are not subscribed. So make sure to go down below and hit that subscribe button because it helps smaller channels like us grow really quickly, and both me and Tom really appreciate it. Then alongside the survival update, crew management is arriving, and even if that aspect does start out basic, it's still an important feature for the overall fantasy of the game. Starship EVO has always been an amazing shipbuilding creative title when it wanted to move beyond that, and now it's achieved it, which is awesome to see. Well done dev, even though it did take a long time. But he did deliver. I mean, if you go into the Steam forums, you're going to see all the same comments from people raging out over the years that they didn't get this, but he did actually deliver it in the end, so fair play. Just refocusing on crew management, I will say that the ability to hire crew and make your vessel feel more like a functioning home in space adds a lot to the fantasy and immersion. And when you combine that with the recent focus on locomotion, UI clarity, environmental feedback, and overall general polish, it does feel like the developer is trying to support the survival loop properly rather than just bolt it onto the side. He did tell me he's going to add a tutorial for the survival mode in a later update, and also I did find the in-game tutorials pretty good actually. Just reading through them, you just need to take your time and be patient. All that said, survival systems are not automatically guaranteed depth, and that is probably the biggest caution here. You can add lots of things to the game, but if those systems end up feeling repetitive or too mechanical, then the structure is there without the moment-to-moment gameplay. Like I said previously, Starship EVO has always had that ambition, but the real test is whether this update makes the game genuinely more engaging to play, not just more technically complete on paper. In the short time I had my hands on it, I thought it was pretty good, and I think you will have to play it yourself and let me know. If you're an experienced player, definitely let me know in the comments. Then there's always pesky bugs. I did encounter a few, like some of my resources disappearing when I put them in a smelter, and I'm sure there's going to be a period after this update where bugs get fixed and people are going to have to find them first. It's always part of the fun with these type of updates. The obvious comparison points are games like Space Engineers and Empyrion, but I'd also throw No Man's Sky in there. I think Starship EVO is trying to carve out its own lane between the first two. Space Engineers 1 and 2 lean harder into engineering and player-made systems, while Empyrion Galactic Survival pushes more into survival, progression and sandbox structure. Starship EVO feels like it wants to combine some of the systems-driven creativity with a more seamless, cinematic, personal starship fantasy. I just think you can never have enough of these types of games. I know people do write in the comments, oh, why would I play this when I can play A or B or whatever it might be, but you know, I just like variety in my gaming, and we like supporting indie developers. I think Starship EVO can go a long way and keep improving, and this is a very important update along the road. It's not just another feature drop, it's the update that might finally answer what Starship EVO actually wants to be. Is it ready after the survival update? I'd argue that yes, it now is. Not every rough edge has disappeared, but the game has a much more wider scope, and for a single dev, I mean, he's just done great work here. Guys, enter the competition. We give away a lot of keys on the channel. You want to be here, like, subscribe, all that stuff. Leave us a comment, we try and read all of them. I've been Luke from LT Gaming, and I'll see you out there amongst the stars.